Aston Villa lose their fifth game in a row against Southampton just before the international break as well, 1-0 away from home. And this is obviously a very disappointing result. Obviously, losing four games in a row, people were not confident. A lot of Villa fans, they thought we were going to lose this game. And to be honest, I didn't. I thought that we were going to get something out of this game simply because Southampton are not a strong side. They're not a good team, to be honest. And I think you could tell that from today's game because they were literally wasting time. A lot of the game, they were just wasting time for like the last 20 minutes. And I think that really goes to show that even though our results have been dismal, even though our performances haven't been good, at least Southampton, they recognised that we were still a threat. And we were still a threat. Like, I really did think that we were going to eventually equalise. There was one really good chance. I don't know who it was, but I think it was in the 80th minute where I think Watkins was ready on the left wing. Maybe not the left wing, but like halfway towards the left wing. I think it might have been Bailey. Bailey, he made a really good run, and that was one of our best chances in the game. But the thing is with this game is we didn't actually have any good shots on target, which is obviously really bad. In this game, it was really disappointing to watch. I tuned in, I think, 6 minutes into the game because I was busy, asleep. Literally, we were already a goal down. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And it was Billy Armstrong as well. Like, I had Armstrong in my fantasy Premier League. I mean, I still have him in my fantasy Premier League team. And for so long, I've wanted to remove him because he's been a flop. And then he scores within 3 minutes. You genuinely can't make it up. Honestly, like, conceding in the first few minutes is the worst case scenario when you've lost such a certain amount of games. So 4 or 5 games, whatever it may be. Conceding really early, that's the worst case scenario. It really is. And right now, we're not in a good position. You know, we could be in the relegation zone if Burnley get a result against, I think, Chelsea. But I don't think they will. So I don't think there's anything to worry about in terms of relegation. But still, it's nerve-wracking. It really is because this performance wasn't so bad. I didn't actually think we played that badly. Looking at the second half especially, we played well at the start of the second half. And I think you need to look at your opponents to work out how good you were in a half, in a game. And when I saw Southampton time wasting, it made me think, clearly we aren't performing that badly because you would not time waste against a bad team. You wouldn't time waste against Norwich. And it's not like Southampton are desperate for results either. Like, they've done pretty well this season. For them, winning this game, it isn't even that important to them. Obviously, they want to win the game, but it's not like they need to win as much as we do. So the fact that they were time wasting, I think, was a good thing to prove that, you know, we were in the game. We were certainly in the game. Martinez made a couple good saves, which is good because he needed to make up for how crap he was in the last game against West Ham. But honestly, we didn't have any good chances. We didn't have any good chances in this game, and that was very frustrating. It really was. Also, there were some weird things that happened in the game. For example, El Ghazi was booked, and then he's fouling the Southampton players. I don't know what he's doing. He could have easily been red carded, and that is bad. That lack of discipline. That's what shows, you know, what's happening behind the scenes. If you have a player that's lacking discipline like El Ghazi was, because he could have got 3 yellow cards this game, the commentators kept blabbing on about it. It shows that he has a lack of discipline, and normally lack of discipline, it comes from the dressing room. And that makes me question what is happening, you know, behind the scenes in the management, in the training, and is it good enough for our club? A lot of people are obviously saying Dean Smith out, and for me, I'm not Dean Smith out because the response in the second half was so strong. The way that we came back into the game, yes, we didn't score, which I think is actually a lot more important to mention than, you know, it's all well and good, obviously responding well to the team talk, responding well to the halftime break, but then again we didn't score, so we didn't respond too well. But I think the fact that we turned the game around at the end of the first half, I mean, going into the second half, I think that shows that, you know, Dean Smith, he still has the dressing room at least, which is good. I can't blame the tactics for us losing that game, though. I think, you know, we conceded a really good goal. They scored a really good goal in the first few minutes. That's what good strikers do. Armstrong, he is a good striker. As much as I wanted to remove him from a fantasy Premier League team, look how well he did at Blackburn Rovers. A lot of goals he scores are quite like the goal he scored, actually. And him scoring that goal, it wasn't because we were bad. It was because he is just so talented. That's one of his talents. He can score off little. He can score the half chances and convincingly. But yeah, for me, once we had conceded that goal, we're climbing a mountain because you got to think about it logically. We needed a result out of this game. Even a draw is not a good result. We needed a win out of this game, and to go a goal down that quickly, it's so demoralising. And the thing is, looking at individual players, there isn't really any players that I was disappointed in. There wasn't any players that played that badly. It's just as a collective, they didn't work together. You can play well, as single players. So, for example, Mings, he can have a good game. I felt like he had a good game. Bailey, I think, was one of the best players we had. He constantly looked to danger and he was good at getting back into a defensive position. I don't know why he's the main defender, but it seemed like he did a lot of defensive moves, which is obviously a good thing to do. But honestly, like you can have the whole team playing well, but if they're not playing well together, it doesn't really matter. And I think that's what we had in this game. We had players doing things well individually, but then they weren't working well together. So the passing wasn't great. The link-up play wasn't very good. I say that we did get Target. He got us in some good positions. There were a couple overlaps that were decent, but we weren't able to capitalise on it. When you lose 5 games in a row and we're going into an international break, it's pretty much the worst case scenario because for the next 2 weeks, as Villa fans, we're all going to be depressed. And it's so bad. It's so annoying. I just wanted a performance out this game. And also playing on Friday as well is the worst because you don't even know what position you're going to be in. We could literally, at the end of the week, Sunday, or I don't know when the last game is. I don't know when Burnley are playing, but we could be in the relegation zone if Burnley get a result against Chelsea. And that's terrifying. And it's weird with Southampton because we have a few parallels with them. Last season, they beat Liverpool 1-0. And obviously, no one expected to beat them 1-0. I think they even beat them away from home. I don't know, they didn't. They beat them at St Mary's Park. Is that what Southampton's Park is called? I don't know much about Southampton, I have to be honest. But they went on to lose many games. I think they lost 6 or 7 in a row. Obviously, after that huge performance against Liverpool. And we have a parallel there. We beat Man United when Man United were good. I think we were their second defeat. We were their first defeat, even. They had a good start to the season. And we defeated them, and then we completely lose all of our form. And it's been since that Wolves game. I was at that Wolves game. We were winning 2-0, I think, in the 80th minute. And the vibe was good. Everyone looked good. And then we conceded 3 goals in the last 15 minutes. Like, we just flopped. And I just don't get what it is. I think it's just because the teammates are just not used to each other. Because we have such a good team. That's why we're not favourites to be relegated. If we had Newcastle's squad, we'd be still favourites to be relegated. We have a good team, they just don't get on with each other. And that's a problem, it really is. I think one of the players I was really disappointed in was Keenan Davis. Keenan Davis is a flop. I don't even know why we have him, he's rubbish. The only thing he's ever done for this club is score that equalising goal against West Brom. Thinking about it like that, we've had worse moments, I think, at Villa. Last season, we scraped a draw against West Brom and we had a really bad run of form. I mean, that wasn't as bad as now. But I think what's important to understand is there's no point being superly over negative. You've got to get behind the team. Even though I'm disappointed in our results, even though I'm disappointed in our performances, I've got to be positive because if I'm not positive, I'm just going to be depressed. And being depressed isn't going to help you in any way. It is just going to ruin the vibe. And one of the main reasons why teams, they stay in such a bad run of form for so long, I don't know how much longer this is going to last. Realistically, I think we're okay losing this game. I don't think we'll get into the relegation zone because I think Burnley will get battered by Chelsea. And I think this season, the bottom 3 are very obvious. It's Norwich, they're not even going to have a chance of survival. There's Burnley, which I know have survived a lot. They've obviously done well at surviving in the Premier League, but this year, they seem a little bit out of their depth. But then again, they have Cornet, and Cornet's been really good. And then there's Newcastle, who I'm all right about. I think they'll get relegated pretty safely, to be honest, because I think people are overhyping them when actually they have still a shit squad, to be honest. And they don't even have Steve Bruce. Everyone's slamming Steve Bruce for being a crap manager, but then you look at the interim manager that they have and they do even worse. So I do think we're okay. I do think we're safe. I also think there are a few teams above us that are in similar problems. Like Everton, they are doing really bad right now. They will get into a similar bad form as us, I believe. So I do think things will turn around. I do think things will turn around. It's not just us, who's struggling in the Premier League. Obviously, we're struggling the most, but then again, we've had results that other teams haven't got. Like, we beat Man United. Like, there's still 3 points. I don't even know what to say about this performance, though, because we were in it. We were fighting for it. And that's good. When you see a team fighting for the goal, that's what you need to see. But there was no decent shots. We didn't have any decent shots on target. I don't even think their goalkeeper made one save, which is really crazy to think because, we really were in it. We had a lot of corners in the second half. I think we had 5 chances in the first 10 minutes of the second half. And also, this is a crazy statistic. We haven't scored away from home in the first half yet. Like, how? I don't understand. Southampton are a team that die in the second half. They're not very good in the second half, and we weren't able to get anything past them. That's a little bit worrying. But fundamentally, we're going into an international break. I honestly wonder if Dean Smith will keep his job. There's no alternative. I can't think of many alternatives. Like, I know there's this guy who has really thick hair that everyone's saying should manage Villa. But I don't know if management change is what we need because I don't think our tactics are that bad. I just don't think they are. Like, if we had bad tactics, we'd be dominated. We weren't dominated that game. I don't think we've been dominated, really. Like, through the whole game, we've not been dominated. Like, even when we lost against Arsenal, yeah, we were dominated for the first half, but in the second half, we were completely in the game. And that makes me think that tactically, that's not the problem. It really isn't. Mings also had a good game. I think it's important to mention Mings because he obviously got a lot of flack from his recent performances. But what Mings does all the time, and it's so frustrating. I don't mind doing this for most of the game. But what he'll do is whenever he defends the ball, whenever he does well with the ball, he'll kick it out of play. And I get that he's the captain. I get he doesn't want to make any mistakes. But it's so frustrating when we're 80 minutes into a game, we're 1-0 down, and you do something well defensively, and there's a back pass to Martinez there. Martinez, he's very good at distribution. He makes a few mistakes, playing out the back. And you prefer just to kick it out. We're 80 minutes into the game. Quite frankly, if we concede another one, so what? It doesn't really matter that much because generally we don't really have a good chance of getting a goal back anyway. Like, I don't mind him playing cautiously if we're a goal up or it's 0-0 and we're holding on. But when we're trying to go for the goal against a team that are clearly time wasting, we need to just be going for it. We shouldn't be kicking out the flipping box. McGinn was also very quiet this game, which I felt was quite uncharacteristic because McGinn has been decent for us this season. Watkins was alright, I guess. Watkins work rate. He's a work rate merchant. I swear to God, if he didn't have work rate, he wouldn't have anything. Like, he finds himself in the right positions. But then again, a broken clock is right twice a day. Like, that's how I see it. Like, yes, he's in the right positions, but if you run around the pitch constantly, you're going to be in the right position sometime. And that's what he does. He's not clinical. And he didn't even have a shot on target, even though he had the ball in good positions multiple times in the game. For me, though, this was not a fun performance. It got better in the second half. The start of the second half, it was really exciting. And I realised very quickly that, this team has something special. We aren't a team that's destined for relegation. We didn't look beaten. We were fighting back. We did look beaten in the first half. But I don't even know. Our next fixture is it's either Brighton or Crystal Palace. To be honest, both of those teams... Yeah, it's against Brighton. Brighton we should get a result against. They haven't even won in the last 5 games. Brighton we will have a good chance at, so that's good. That's good to think about, I guess. But honestly, this performance, You know, I'm rambling a lot now, but I think that summarises the performance. It was just like attacking and attacking, no end product, no point of attack, just attacking for the sake of it. But it was disappointing, really disappointing. There's nothing worse than losing a game when it's the first game of the game week because you don't even know what position you're in. You're just watching your team go down and down and down, and it's not fun whatsoever. I hope we're not in the relegation zone, but then again, maybe it'll be a kick up the backside. Maybe getting a new manager is a good idea, but for me, I'm not Dean Smith out. He's done so much for this club, and I think there's a difference between a bad run of form and consistently being tactically inept. And for me, his team selection's all right. It's not bad. I think Keenan Davis needs to be sold, though. I've never seen a player seem so out of depth. He didn't even look excited to go on the pitch. Like, literally, I don't even know how many minutes he's played this season. It can't be more than 30. You know, you're going onto the pitch. We've lost 4 games in a row. You've got 25 minutes, and you don't even look invested in the game. We need a goal. We need a goal. This is your chance. He doesn't even look interested. Like, that's the difference between Cameron Archer. Cameron Archer didn't have a great game, okay? It was him. It was him who had the break. It wasn't Bailey. It was Cameron Archer. He was really good. Cameron Archer with that break, you know, he put us in a good position to equalise, I felt, nearer to the end of the game. With Cameron Archer, he didn't have an amazing game, right? But at least he looked like he wanted to be there. At least he looked like he was trying. Keenan Davis, he just looks lost. Just sell him. Just send him to Cheltenham Town or somewhere. They'll take him. Honestly, I'm just so disappointed by him. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, guys. Take care, everyone. Hopefully we'll get some results in the future. I hope to God we do.